4 ways God brings your soulmate into your life, without signs but with divine purpose. Some of the biggest shifts in our lives happen quietly. No big signs, no dramatic moments. Just a simple conversation, a familiar face, or someone crossing your path when you least expect it. But when God is the one arranging it, nothing is ever random. Maybe you're in a season of waiting. You've been praying, hoping, wondering if love is really in the plan for you. Let me remind you, God has not forgotten you. He's not late. He's intentional. And when He brings the right person into your life, it might not feel magical right away. Because God doesn't just send someone to love you, He sends someone who aligns with His purpose for your life. The kind of love God gives won't leave you confused, drained, or questioning your worth. It comes with peace. It shows up when you're growing, healing, becoming who He created you to be. And maybe, just maybe, the person you've been praying for is already nearby. So let's talk about it. 4 ways God introduces you to your soulmate without you even realizing it. Way 1. God prepares you before they arrive. Before God introduces you to the person He's chosen for your life, He always begins with something far more important: your heart. Not because you're broken beyond repair, and not because you're not good enough yet, but because love in God's eyes is a responsibility, not just a reward. It's a reflection of His character, His covenant, and His calling on your life. And when God gives you someone to love, He's not just giving you a relationship. He's entrusting you with a soul, and He prepares you to handle that with care. This season, this in-between space you might be living in right now, is not a punishment. It's preparation. It's holy ground. It's where God refines you, reshapes you, and restores you. But let's be real, it doesn't always feel like that. Sometimes it feels like silence, like waiting rooms with no clock on the wall, like praying for love and watching everyone else receive what your heart has longed for, and still nothing. But what you can't always see is that God is doing something deep beneath the surface. He's tending to the soil of your soul. Think of your heart like a garden. No wise gardener throws seeds onto hard, unturned ground and expects fruit. First, the soil has to be broken, softened, and made ready. The weeds have to be pulled, old habits, past pain, and spiritual distractions. The stones have to be removed, unforgiveness, trust issues, fear of vulnerability. And only then, after all the hidden work is done, can something truly meaningful begin to grow. This is exactly what God does with you. He prepares your soul to carry the kind of love He once give you. Not surface-level love, not temporary affection, but covenant love. And that takes time. Because God is not in the business of quick fixes, He's in the business of transformation. He's not interested in giving you someone just to keep you company. He's preparing you for someone to run with you, fight beside you, and build something kingdom-focused with you. Look at Adam in Genesis. Before Eve ever came into the picture, Adam had identity, purpose, and relationship with God. He wasn't searching for someone to fill a void. He was walking in the fullness of who he was created to be. So when God brought Eve, she didn't complete him, she complemented him. She didn't fix his loneliness, she joined his mission. That's divine alignment. That's kingdom connection. And it only happens when your identity is rooted in God first. This is where many people rush ahead. We want the love story without the pruning. We want the person without the process. But skipping preparation means stepping into something with wounds still open, expectations still broken, and fears still loud. And love can't thrive in that. Not even God-ordained love. So what does God's preparation look like? It might look like Him calling you to forgive someone you never got closure from. It might look like Him asking you to let go of someone you wanted so badly to be the one It might look like you facing the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding: your anger, your control issues, your fear of rejection, your need to be chosen. God isn't doing that to hurt you. He's doing it to heal you. Because the version of you who steps into that future relationship isn't the version stuck in past pain. It's the version who's been made whole in the presence of God. Sometimes that healing comes with tears. Sometimes with distance. Sometimes with isolation. But it always comes with purpose. Because God's goal isn't just to prepare you for a person. It's to prepare you for purpose. And a relationship that isn't rooted in purpose will eventually collapse under the weight of pressure. If you're in that waiting season right now, and it feels like nothing is happening, let me tell you, it's not wasted time. It's not God forgetting about you. It's Him forming you. That quiet season is where He's teaching you how to love without fear, how to trust without proof, how to walk in obedience even when you don't understand the timing. And when the right person arrives, because they will, you won't have to fake wholeness. You'll be whole. You won't have to pretend you're ready. You will be. And you'll recognize them, not because they match a checklist, but because they align with your calling. They'll meet you in your growth, not your brokenness. They won't be someone you chase, but someone who runs at your pace. That's what this preparation is about. So don't fight it, don't rush it. Don't compare your story to someone else's highlight. Let God finish what He started in you. Because when He's done, what He brings into your life won't just feel like love, it will be love. The kind that honors Him, the kind that reflects His heart, the kind that lasts. Way 2. Your paths cross in unexpected ways. God doesn't work according to your schedule, your list, or your imagination. He's not waiting for you to line up all the right events or be in the perfect place at the perfect time. He moves based on His purpose, not your preferences. And that's why, so often, when God introduces you to your soulmate, it doesn't look like a movie moment. It looks like an interruption, a shift, a decision you didn't plan to make, a detour you almost didn't take. Because when God is writing the story, the introduction won't always feel extraordinary, but it will be divinely timed. Ruth didn't meet Boaz while scrolling through a list of options or searching for the right field. She was simply obeying. She was serving. She was taking care of Naomi and walking in faith. The Bible says she happened to be in Boaz's field. But with God, nothing just happens. That was divine alignment, not coincidence. And that's how it often works. While you're following God faithfully, quietly, even imperfectly, He leads your steps into divine encounters. Not because you're striving, but because you're walking. God doesn't guide those who sit and wait for a miracle. He guides those who move in obedience, who trust Him, even when the road ahead looks foggy. Your obedience becomes the pathway to the person God is preparing for you. Sometimes it won't look spiritual at all. It might be a job you didn't want to take, a city you didn't think you'd move to, a ministry you were nervous to join, a friendship that turns into something more. On the surface, it looks random, but in the kingdom, there is no such thing as random. When you belong to God, your steps are ordered, even the ones that feel small, awkward, or out of place. You might already know the person you'll marry. You might have crossed paths years ago and didn't even realize it. That's the beauty of how God works. He moves people like puzzle pieces, aligning stories in ways you couldn't script even if you tried. And the more you surrender your timeline to Him, the more space you give Him to surprise you. But here's what's key. You have to be willing to go where God sends you, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it's uncomfortable. You don't find divine alignment by chasing people. You find it by chasing God. And as you move closer to Him, you'll naturally start walking in rhythm with someone who's doing the same. That's how you recognize alignment. Not by feelings, not by fireworks, but by shared direction. You're running your race, they're running theirs, and one day you look up and you're side by side. Not because either of you forced it, but because God led you there. That's when you know this isn't just a connection, this is covenant unfolding. So if it feels like God is shifting your life, moving pieces, opening unexpected doors, pay attention. If He's calling you to places that feel unfamiliar, or putting people in your path you didn't expect, don't brush it off. He might be setting the stage for something bigger than you imagined, something holy, something lasting. You don't need to manipulate timing or manufacture moments. Just keep walking, keep serving, keep saying yes. When He prompts your heart, because the person God has for you isn't hiding, they're being positioned, and so are you. When the moment comes, you won't have to force anything. God's hand will be all over it, even if it doesn't look like what you pictured. Trust the unexpected. Trust the ordinary. Because when it's God, even a simple meeting carries eternal weight. Way 3. Your soulmate strengthens your faith. When God brings the right person into your life, one of the clearest signs is not just how they make you feel, but how they push you closer to Him. A God-ordained relationship won't just give you butterflies, it will build your spirit, will challenge you to grow, to surrender deeper, to pray more sincerely. It won't pull you away from your relationship with God, it will make that relationship even more vital, more alive, more central to everything you do. This is how you know it's more than attraction. This is how you know it's alignment. The person God has for you will not just speak to your emotions. They'll speak to your calling. They won't just encourage your dreams. They'll encourage your devotion. They'll challenge the way you trust God, the way you worship, the way you lead, the way you love. And it won't feel like pressure. It will feel like purpose. You'll know it by the fruit. You'll pray together, not just talk about praying. You'll worship, even when life is hard. You'll fight spiritual battles as a team, not run from them in fear. When one of you is weary, the other will lift you up. When one of you is under attack, the other will step in and fight with you. That's what covenant looks like in real life. It's not just holding hands on good days, it's holding faith on hard ones. The right person won't cause you to compromise your convictions. They won't pull you into confusion. They won't lead you into spiritual numbness. If you have to hide your faith to keep their attention, that's not a soulmate. That's a distraction. If you find yourself drifting from God to maintain a relationship, that's not love. It's a red flag. Real love, God's love, brings clarity. It brings peace. It confirms what the Holy Spirit is already whispering to your heart. It builds you. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. It doesn't just inspire comfort. It calls you higher. You begin to dream bigger, pray bolder, believe deeper, not because the person saved you, but because their presence points you back to the one who already did. Think about it. You don't just need someone who can stand next to you. You need someone who can stand in the gap for you. You need someone who knows how to go to war in the spirit when life gets heavy. Someone who will fast with you, cry with you, intercede for you. Someone who doesn't just love your gifts, but guards your soul. Because marriage is not just a connection, it's a spiritual assignment. And who you align with will affect everything. Your peace, your purpose, your legacy. Look at the example of Isaac and Rebekah. Their relationship wasn't built on random chemistry. It was an answer to prayer. Abraham's servant asked for a specific sign, and Rebekah fulfilled it without hesitation. She was chosen, but she was also ready. She was walking in kindness, humility, and a posture of faith. She didn't try to convince anyone to choose her. She simply showed up in obedience and let God do the rest. That's how divine connections work. They don't require striving, manipulation, or proving your worth. The right person will recognize the God in you before they recognize anything else. They'll value your calling, not just your company. And when the storms of life come, and they will, you'll find that your connection doesn't just hold, it strengthens, because it was built on something unshakable. So ask yourself, does this relationship make me love God more? Does it stir my spirit, not just my emotions? Does it sharpen me? Does it lead me toward righteousness? Because when God brings two people together, He doesn't just match personalities. He aligns purposes. You don't need someone who just makes you laugh. You need someone who makes you better. Someone who hears from God. Someone who speaks life when you forget how to pray. And when it's God, you won't have to guess. You won't have to force peace where there is none. You won't have to shrink your faith to fit their comfort zone. The relationship will feel like an extension of your walk with God, not a detour from it. You'll find yourself stepping into greater boldness, deeper surrender, stronger intimacy with God because you're walking with someone who's also walking with Him. That is the kind of relationship worth waiting for. The kind that doesn't just bring you a partner, but deepens your purpose. The kind that doesn't just change your relationship status, but strengthens your spirit. The kind that isn't just about today, but about eternity. When God brings your soulmate, your faith will not fade. It will flourish. Way 4. God confirms through spiritual authority. When God is truly the one orchestrating a relationship, He rarely keeps it just between the two of you. Divine alignment often comes with divine confirmation, not just in your heart, but through the voices of spiritual authority. People who walk closely with God, who know His word, and who care deeply about your purpose. It's not about needing validation from everyone. It's about recognizing the wisdom God places in others to protect you from what your emotions might not see. Love has a way of clouding judgment. When your heart is involved, it's easy to ignore red or spiritual warnings. That's why God, in His mercy, often uses mentors, pastors, godly friends, and spiritual leaders to either confirm what He's already speaking to you, or to slow you down long enough to notice something you've missed. It's not control, it's covering. Throughout Scripture, we see this pattern. When Rebekah was chosen for Isaac, her family didn't say yes casually. They blessed her and sent her with purpose. When Boaz wanted to marry Ruth, he didn't just follow his emotions. He brought it before the elders, seeking counsel and doing things in order. That's what divine love looks like. It's not just spiritual, it's accountable. When a relationship is from God, it won't just feel right in private. It will be affirmed in public by the people God has placed in your life to speak truth. And when those people, the ones who pray for you, who know your journey, who care more about your calling than your comfort, when they see your relationship and feel peace, that's not just coincidence. That's confirmation. Sometimes, the hardest part of this is being willing to listen. Because when you really want something, it's easy to tune out anything that sounds like hesitation. But maturity says, if the people God has used to lead me, guide me, and pray with me are expressing caution, maybe I need to pause, not to walk away automatically, but to pray more deeply, to seek clarity, to slow down enough to be sure. And yes, God can absolutely speak directly to you. He does, but He also speaks through wise counsel, through people who love Him and love you, people who have nothing to gain by telling you the truth, everything to lose if they stay silent while you walk into something that could harm your destiny. This kind of spiritual accountability is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. It's a sign that you trust God more than your feelings, that you're willing to let your relationship be seen, prayed over, and spoken into. Because the enemy knows how to send counterfeits. He knows how to disguise distractions as destiny. But he can't fake true spiritual discernment. He can't fool those who have eyes to see in the spirit and hearts aligned with heaven. When it's really from God, it won't cause the people who love Him to feel uneasy. It won't have to be defended or justified over and over again. It will carry peace. It will carry purpose. It will make sense in the spirit even if it doesn't fit your timeline. And more often than not, God will confirm it through the mouths of 2 or 3 trusted voices. Not to control you, but to protect you. So if you're in a relationship right now and you're wondering, is this really from God? Don't just listen to your heart. Listen to your spirit and listen to the godly voices around you. Do they see fruit? Do they sense peace? Or do they hesitate when you talk about it, not because they're critical, but because they're concerned? God's confirmation often comes in gentle ways. In your pastor's peace, when you share. In your mentor's quiet assurance. In the prayers of your spiritual family that just feel aligned. Or sometimes in their caution, in their questions, in their silence. Don't ignore that. God uses it all. The person God has for you won't just make sense in your emotions. They'll make sense in your calling. And when it's truly from Him, He won't leave you guessing. He'll send confirmation, not once, but again and again, through prayer, through peace, and through the people who are committed to seeing you walk in God's best. Not a good thing, a God thing. And when you see that kind of confirmation, when your spirit and the spirit in others agree, you can walk forward with confidence. Because God never just ordains the connection. He surrounds it, He secures it, and He confirms it. The way God introduces you to your soulmate isn't always obvious. It won't always look like a dramatic encounter or feel like a fairy tale moment. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it's hidden in seasons that feel more like loss than preparation. But just because you don't see it happening doesn't mean God isn't working. He prepares your heart because He knows that real love can't grow in unhealed soil. He orders your steps, sometimes in directions that feel confusing, only to bring divine connections through what looks like ordinary obedience. He sends someone who doesn't just feel good to be around, but someone who draws you closer to Him. Because the love He designs always strengthens, never weakens, and He doesn't leave you to figure it out alone. He surrounds you with wise voices, with spiritual authority, with people who can see from the outside what your emotions might miss. If you're still waiting, don't lose hope. Don't start believing the lie that maybe it's not going to happen for you. God is not late. He's not distracted. He's not holding back. He's being intentional. He's building something lasting, not temporary. He's writing a story that doesn't just bless you. It glorifies Him. And when it all comes together, you'll realize that every moment of waiting had purpose. Every season of pruning had a reason. Every delay was actually preparation. You won't have to force it. You won't have to beg for it. You won't have to compromise your faith to keep it. What God joins together will carry peace. It will align with your purpose. It will echo the prayers you thought went unanswered, and it will feel less like a surprise and more like something your spirit already recognized. So don't chase after love, chase after God, because as you do, He will lead you exactly where you need to be. And when it's time, love will meet you there. Not rushed, not random, but right on time. Divinely aligned, ordained, and worth every single moment you waited.